Shalom. Before I get started, as always, I want to give all praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, where I learn this truth. Peace, blessings, and salutations to the elect out there scattered abroad, pushing this truth on the four corners of the earth, which lies and freedom to do so. It's the brother Tazamak coming back with a quick lesson. I'm going to call this lesson Spiritual Power from On High. And in the end, that's what the Lord's men are going to get. We're going to get spiritual power. And when you see it in real life, it's going to look far greater than what you see on this picture. Okay? You know, say some martial law troops are coming for you, or some type of mercenary is coming for you and your family. You know, Esau is coming after you. You know, one of these militia groups are coming after you. The Lord is going to lift up a standard for his men. Okay? We're going to be taken care of in the end. We're not going to have to worry about anything. All right? We're going to be, you know, throwing tanks, able to have super speed, able to be, you know, turn invisible, able to fly, able to breathe underwater, able to talk to the animals, the real, you know, not that bullshit Dr. Doolittle stuff. Okay? Be able to manipulate every element, literally. Okay? When you watch, just like Apostle Har says, you know, brothers put up these little montages or these little clips of, and that's what I meant to say, Salakia. The brothers put up these little clips of videos showing, you know, how we're going to have spiritual power. And Apostle Har said, when we come back down as New Jerusalem, like it talks about in the scriptures, okay, we're going to actually look like superheroes, man. Our attire, okay, the things that we're able to do. All right. And, you know, we're going to have fun using that spiritual power. You know, we're going to have fun using that power. What's the point of having power if you can't use it? Right. Before we get that power, we have to show our humility. OK, because before honor comes what? Humility. So right now, you know, people make fun of us and all that, but it's not going to be for long. OK, those days are fastly coming to an end. OK, while everybody else, kids are going to be behind them, they're going to get slaughtered together. They're going to get slaughtered together. You and your daughter that you thought was going to go to a prestigious college, and you thought she was going to, you know, your son, you thought he was going to live a good life. It's over. Okay? If the Lord's not with you, it's a wrap. Okay? Now, I'm going to start off in the book of Daniel, the 12th chapter. And I'm going to go to the 13th verse. But go thy way to the end. It's Salakia, Daniel 12 and 13. But go thou thy way to the end be. For thou shalt rest and stand in thy lot at the end of the days. Okay? And it was something I wanted. Let me see. Here we go, right here. Salakia, that's not what I wanted. This is what I want right here. Daniel 12 and 3. And they shall be wise, shall shine as the brightness of the firmament. And they shall, and they that turn many to righteousness as the stars forever and ever. Okay? We're shining now. Okay? We're shining now. All right? Because of this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Okay? So we're shining now because of this wisdom, knowledge, understanding, and it's going to lead to a physical change. You know, the average person can't tell that we have that shine on us because they're idiots. They can't see it. The spiritually dead. Okay? But we're gonna literally, like Dragon Ball Z, when you see Goku and Vegeta, Trunks and all them, when they power up and or whatever, and they got that bright glow around them. Okay, we're gonna have a glow like that. We're gonna have spiritual power, man. Okay, we're gonna be able to power up. Be able to manipulate the elements, like I was saying, be able to fly. Because one thing to fly, there was this old movie, I can't remember what it was called. I think it was on Disney Channel. And there was this goofball calling it how it is. He was flying, but he was like flying slow. The dude only could fly like, because sometimes I have dreams about spiritual power. And sometimes in my dreams, I don't be flying as fast. I'm like, damn, how come I ain't flying as fast? So in the movie, dude was flying, but it was all slow and shit. Like somebody could like jump up and grab him. He wasn't flying that high. So it was a goofball movie. We're not going to have it like that. We're going to literally be able to fly fast too. Faster than an airplane, faster than a jet, faster than a fighter jet, faster than anything. And we're going to be able to run fast as well. There's not going to be like a limit on our power. Like we shoot 5 laser beams out and then we got to go take a water break. Okay. I'm going to get the next precept in the book of Daniel, again, 7 and 18. Okay. It says, but the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. Okay. How are we going to take the kingdom? By what you see right here. All right. When you read on that Simeon Toko story, okay, you know, I guess they called him the I can't remember how to pronounce the Slakia, the Anunnaki, I think. Slakia if I'm pronouncing it wrong. But getting to the point, an angel, they say one of the angels, right, grabbed a truck with one hand and threw it at a man. Okay, ask one of your friends to do it. Ask your uncle to do it. Nobody has strength like that. That's spiritual power, man. No matter how much you work out, how good you eat, you're not going to get on that level. It all starts with the spirit, and that's what everybody around us can't get. What's going on right now starts with the spirit. What went on yesterday starts with the spirit. It all starts with the spirit. Okay, and it's going to lead us physically having power. Okay, Jeremiah 16 and 16. You know? I'm going to read it again, Daniel 7 and 18. But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and never. To take, in order for us to take this devil's kingdom down, it's going to take a tremendous amount of power. Look what the Lord blessed them with, the sword. Okay, which is a modern day gun also represents destruction. Okay, and he has a powerful military, Esau. These heathens have powerful militaries. In order for us to take back over the planet, it's going to take a great deal of force and power. Because imagine you got power, right? You're like the king of Scotland. And you got a very powerful military, probably the most powerful military in the world. And, you know, some dudes come up saying, hey, man, we're going to take your kingdom. What are you going to try to do? You're going to try to kill them, right? But if they're too strong and you clearly don't stand a chance, they wiping out everything, you're going to be in subjection or die. Okay, and that's what's about to take place. We're not about to sit up and bargain. Hey, you want to go pick some cotton today? Either do it or die, man. Okay? And we're going to need this spiritual power for the things that are coming, man. Should have got an article, but we're going to need spiritual power for the things that are coming. They got robot dogs. Robots that can fight. Okay? I'm going to get this precept next in the book of Isaiah 41 and 14. Fear not, thou worm Jacob. You know, Jacob represents Israel. Okay, because we're and it says worm because we're in a vulnerable state right now. This devil can get to us. The devil can kill. You know, some brothers going to be martyred right now. So we're in a vulnerable state right now. And it says, and ye men of Israel, I will help thee, said the Lord Yahweh, and thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel. Behold, I will make thee a new sharp threshing instrument, having teeth. Okay, and when you see teeth, that represents, you know, power, because you think about a strength. You think about a lion, and that's where they get their strength from. Okay, thou shalt thresh the mountains and beat them small, and shall make the hills as chaff. Okay, mountains represent the governments, and we're going to be kicking much ass out there, man. We're going to take these governments down, and we're going to establish a government on earth through righteousness. Verse 16, Isaiah 41 and 16. Thou shalt fan them. Well, that's all I want to. And then next I'm going to get Jeremiah 51 and 20. The next precept is pretty good as well. Yeah. Next precept I'm going to get is Jeremiah. Let's see. 51. And I'm going to start at verse 20. It reads, Thou art my battle axe and weapons of war. For with thee will I break in pieces the nations. And it's talking about, when he says thou art my battle axe and weapons of war, that's talking about the elect brothers, man, because the Lord's going to give us spiritual power. And it says, for with thee will I break in pieces the nations, and with thee will I destroy kingdoms. Okay, so we're gonna be able to subdue all these nations through the spiritual power that Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua is going to give his men. All right. Verse 21, Jeremiah 51 and 21. And with thee will I break in pieces the horse and his rider, and with thee will I break in pieces the chariot and his rider. All these military vehicles, I'm going to be able to break those down. The tanks, okay, the fighter jets. All right. Verse 22. With thee also will I break in pieces man and woman, and with thee will I break in pieces old and young, and with thee will I break in pieces the young man and the maid. What happened to the Lord? Love everybody. Everybody can make it. The Lord's not a respecter of persons, man. Okay, we're gonna be splitting wigs out here. If you ain't right, you're gonna be out the way. You rebels is gonna catch it bad. That don't think because you're not in America you ain't gonna get it. The rebels gonna get it too. The 2/3 gonna be destroyed. The heathens that don't want to get in line, they're gonna get wiped out too. We're not taking no shit. Verse 23. I will also break in pieces with thee the shepherd and his flock, and with thee will I break in pieces the husbandman, because you got the shepherd and his flock. You know, you got these false pastors out there that try to lead their congregation. They're gonna die too, man. And we probably gonna get to them niggas first, because they the worst. They the worst niggas. Okay, it's one thing the normal nigga that sag his pants, but a false prophet, that just makes me sick. We gonna get them niggas, man. Okay, and it says and with thee will I break in pieces the husband and his yoke of oxen, and with thee will I break in pieces captains and rulers. Okay, there's not going to be the captains, rulers, these so-called world leaders, these presidents, these ministers like Netanyahu's demonic self. They're not going to stand a chance. Okay, y'all think y'all got a powerful military? It's nothing compared to the military might of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, to the angelic forces. There's nothing compared to it. Okay, what y'all gonna do? Send the FBI director on us? Call Kim Jong-un? Okay, was they both demons, Kash Patel and Kim Jong-un. All right. I'm getting ready to close in the book of Psalms. I'm gonna go to Psalms 110 and verse 3. Thy people shall be willing in the day of thy power, in the beauties of holiness. You know, because the way Jake is, they say seeing is believing, man. We gotta know for sure if we're gonna get the spiritual power. You gotta know for sure. Well, it all comes down to having faith. We have faith. We're prisoners of hope. Okay, we have faith that the Lord's gonna do everything He said He was gonna do for us, and you build your faith by studying. Okay, by being locked into these scriptures, man. All right. So when Jake sees us out there clowning with the spiritual power, doing this and that, New Jerusalem, they're going to be like, man, what do I got to do to join? You had the opportunity to join right now. Okay. And you refused. And it says, Psalms 110:3, thy people shall be willing in the day of thy power, in the beauties of holiness from the womb of the morning, thou hast the dew of thy youth. You know, and it brought up the dew of thy youth because imagine like a young man, when you're a young man, say in high school, okay, and you were strong. You know, you had energy. You didn't get tired like that. All right. And shit, a lot of grown men now are weaker as they're older, as 30, 40, 50 than they were when they were teenagers. You know, 16, 17. Okay, because you're a man when you're at the age of to be able to produce seed. Okay, so that the scripture is saying that we're going to get our strength. All right, we're going to have supernatural strength. Okay, we're not going to ever get tired again. So we're going to be even more stronger than we were in the ancient time. Because in the ancient time, men actually were more active. Now these niggas is fat, lazy, don't want to do nothing. So the Lord has something special in store for His men. Lord's will, this was an edifying lesson. With that, I'm going to say shalom.